Chapter 12, a unique story of friendship amongst distant relatives. The beautiful tapestry of the story of Job is that these men care about their family member, who is Job. He is a relative of theirs. They have come from afar to see him. Notice how the Chaldeans and the Sabians are enemies to Job, but Zophar, Bildad, and Elihu care about their distant cousin, Job. In the case of Eliphaz, Job is his great-nephew. This level of intimacy and familial kinship makes the account quite intriguing and profound, connecting the characters in the book not to just friends who are unacquainted with one another, but distant relatives from various parts of Arabia. Eliphaz represents the area of Teman. Bildad is a Shuhite, a descendant of Shua from the area of Duma. Zophar the Naamathite is from the Sinai Peninsula, from around Nama Bay, and the town of modern-day Sharm el-Sheikh, which overlooks the Straits of Tiran, Saudi Arabia. Last but not least, Elihu was a Buzite, the descendant of Abraham. He may have lived in Yathrib or the Medina area in southern Arabia. He enters the picture later as he is not part of the three who arrived first. They were all descendants of Abraham from either Sarah, Hagar, or Keturah. We should not see these men as simple characters, but rather as kings or rulers of their geographical areas. They were prominent figures who were the tribal chiefs of their families in the different regions of Arabia. After all, Eliphaz was the son of Esau. He was a grandson of Isaac and a great-grandson of Abraham. Eliphaz's lineage was the most prominent line of the Edomites, considering he was the firstborn of Esau. Reuel's lineage comes in second, which was the line of Jobab, a mysterious figure mentioned in Genesis 36. From Reuel's lineage in Genesis, Job enters the picture through this man named Jobab. But how do we conclusively agree that this is true? We shall see. Think about how long did Job suffer. Job definitely suffered for more than a week. Job 2:13 says when Job's 3 friends arrived, they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights, being completely silent. The number 7 is right there. Knowing what happened to Job would take time as word had spread that Job's territory had been under siege. Job's sufferings did not happen in 8 or 9 days as some would believe. If his distant relatives had come from different parts of Arabia, it would have taken a considerable amount of time. It's not like a neighborhood get-together where everyone can come over at a moment's notice. No one could fly Emirates or Air Jordan and show up within a few days. I speculate within 2 months to a year, but I cannot be exact. So Job 7:3 provides a reference to time. So I have been allotted months of futility, and wearisome nights have been appointed me. From this verse, we can see that the trial of Job's life occurred for more than 2 months, considering months of futility is plural, but the events do not happen immediately. 4 months to 1 year is a good guess, but it may have gone to be longer, even though when we read Job 42:7-9, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar are instructed to make a sacrifice of bulls and rams for their sins against Yahweh, so that Job, the priest of the land of Uz, could pray for them, who was called my servant. By Yah, this would take time as well. The main point I'm driving at is time develops in the Job narrative. It's not an occurrence that happens within a week, conjured by the author of Job. It is in many ways a synopsis of a sequence of events that took around a year to happen. Also, when Job's fortunes change and he was restored, that timeline is fast-forwarded toward the end of his life. Another thing we're not sure about is the duration of the dialogue and how long those interactions took. The patience of Job is something that our faith must hold on to. If Job is being patient, we must also be patient with the story, and understood it took time for the events to happen, and not everything happened immediately or within 7 days. James 5:11 says, "You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about." Job was exceedingly patient in the fiery trial of his life. Romans 8:18 says, "Our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." We must also exercise Job in patience and wait it out until God brings restoration. Moreover, the bull sacrifice in Job was a foreshadowing of what Yeshua would do at Calvary. Hebrews 10:11. And every priest stands daily at his service, offering repeatedly the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But when Christ had offered for all time a single sacrifice for sins, he sat down at the right hand of God, waiting from that time until his enemies should be made a footstool for his feet. For by a single offering he has perfected for all time those who are being sanctified.